Hi, my name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy, loan modification, and foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I've been doing this type of law for 13 years, and I've seen a lot of different things in those 13 years, and I've helped a lot of people with a lot of different situations involving their properties. Now, one of the things that I have done, and I think this is interesting for all people to look at, because remember, all homeowners are real estate investors. No matter if you own one home or multiple homes, everybody's interested in real estate investing. Now, one thing that I have done with people in the past is I've helped people buy properties at auction. That's something that it's difficult to do, but it's interesting. And if you're interested in that, what I'm going to show you, which is something you rarely see anywhere on YouTube or anywhere, is how you analyze properties so that if they're worth purchasing at auction. I'm going to show you an auction site before it happens and after the fact to see how the properties did at auction. Now, we're going to do that in a second, but please, before that, please subscribe and like my video so that I keep making these videos and other videos on different subjects involving different types of law and real estate issues and different things throughout this pandemic and beyond. So as I explained, this time we're going to do something a little different than my usual viewers who have watched me on Debt Law, Survival Guide for the Desperate Debtor. I'm actually going to show you what an auction looks like for a property. Now, I'm going to do a screen grab of my screen and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at as I go through the different properties. Then the properties I've selected, I think we should look at to see how they do at auction. Now, this is the Miami-Dade County foreclosed.com website. Most counties along in the United States have something like this. The majority of the, especially the big counties, are all online. The auctions are done online. It's nothing that you do anymore in person. The auctions used to be literally at the steps of the courthouse or through some sort of bidding, but nowadays this is all done online. So we're going to look at what we got. Now, this basically is for May 24th, 2021, very recent, Monday. And I'm looking at this obviously before the auction. Now, there's a lot of different auctions here, and if you look at the auctions waiting, we're going to look at two in particular, and I'm going to show you how you analyze this. First one we're going to look at is this one down here. Where is it? At 15145 Southwest 209th Terrace. Now, the reason I think this is worth looking at is because I'm going to show you what all this stuff means. Now, the auction starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll be honest with you, it's 6 o'clock in the morning right now, so I'm a few hours before, but we're going to look at this. We're going to see what happens after 9, after the fact. But look at this. I'm going to show you what all this stuff means right here. So you've got the foreclosure, it's an auction type, which is foreclosure. This case number here is the foreclosure case number. In Florida, properties are auctioned after foreclosures. So this case number identifies the auction of the property's foreclosure number. This is 2018. So the 2018 case, about 3 years old. Now, this is the most important thing. Well, there's a couple of things. This final judgment amount right here, which is $156,938. This is the amount that the plaintiff, which is the bank that foreclosed, is owed when the foreclosure was over. This is very important. This number basically is the number, usually what the bank can get in the first bid that they have when they bid for a property. The bank doesn't want the property. The bank, what it wants is the money. So if in order to get this property, you have to bid in most circumstances over this $156,000. Now, here's the property address, and we're going to look at the property in a second. And this is the assessed value. So you already see something here. The final judgment amount is $156,000, and the assessed value. The assessed value is the value that the county puts pursuant to their taxes. It's not really the market value. The market value is higher than that, but it gives you an idea what the county thinks the property is worth for their tax purposes. I would always add 20% to this, because that's really probably the market value, and in this market it's even more than that. Now this is really interesting. The plaintiff has chosen with their max bid here to only bid $143,000. They really want to get rid of this property. What this means is, in order to get this property, which is an assessed value of 185, you need to bid over 129.07. I'm not sure why they did that, but that's the published max bid for the property. Now, I pulled this up already on Zillow. We're going to take a look at this property. Again, we had a real foreclosure put the assessed value at 185. When we go up to Zillow, Zillow claims this property was $322,000. Okay, so there's a tremendous opportunity here to purchase this property. There's a lot of space between 322 and 143. It's basically almost double, more than double. So this property is probably going to go obviously higher than 143, and I'm guessing less than 322, but somewhere in the middle. Someone's going to make some money on this property. This is a good one. If you were going to bid, I would say bid on this one, because this one looks like it's going to go well and people are going to make some money on this property. Now, the other one that I'm looking at is an interesting one, is this one in Doral. Doral is where my office is, but it's also the it's a beautiful suburb of Miami. It's a lot of single-family homes, a lot of pretty places. So this one is interesting. The final judgment here is 569, and the assessed value is 418, which we already saw what that means. But the bid, again, the plaintiff only chose to bid $500,000, so they really want to get rid of this house, because if they could have bid up to 569, but they only bid 500. Now let me explain. I'll show you this property in a second, but let me explain what this means. The plaintiff, which is the bank that has the first mortgage, doesn't actually put any money. This $500,000 isn't the plaintiff putting any money. What they're doing is they're saying, okay, we foreclose, so we get a free bid. You have to bid over $500,000 to get this property. If you bid $500 and $100, because the bids are by $100 increments. If you bid $500, $100, $500,000, $100, then you would get the property. If nobody else bids higher, the plaintiff gets $500,000, and then the $100 either goes to the previous owners or to other liens. It probably goes to other liens, but at least the plaintiff gets paid off its $500,000, and the house belongs to the third party bidder. Now let's take a look at this property. I looked it up. It's a nice house. This is a very beautiful house here in Doral. It's brand new. It looks like it's never been lived in, or if it has, these people moved out and left it perfect. This again has it's almost $100,000 difference than what is assessed. So this is another one that if you were to buy this property at auction, you paid, let's say you paid a little over 500, you would get a property that's worth almost $600,000 for 500,000. This is obviously something that a lot of investors do. Now, there are other properties on here which we're not going to talk about, but this gives you an idea of what's out there right now. A lot of people are desperate to buy homes. This is the way to do it. The problem with buying properties at auction is you need the cash. There's no way to finance this. You might be able to get somebody to finance the purchase and give you the money to do this, but again, that's between you and them. There are no commercial banks that give you any loans for this. But if you're out there and you have the cash, this is actually not a bad way to do this. There are properties that are worth less, and I'll show you one that's probably not a good one. This one right here, which is on Ocean Drive. Okay, Ocean Drive is famous, very famous street here in Miami. It's the main street. Now, even just looking at this, the final judgment is $580,000. That means that this property has accumulated a lot of debt, and the assessed value is $200,000. This is probably a studio apartment right on the beach. Now, the plaintiff max bid is hidden in this situation, which means we don't really know what the plaintiff is asking for, but I'm going to tell you it's probably this. Usually it's the same amount as the final judgment. So in this situation, this property is no one's going to buy this. This is going to go back to the bank. And I'm going to show you what that looks like after the fact. But if you have these situations where you have a hidden bid, you're basically bidding blindly, and but you can assume that the final judgment, as I'll show you this one here, perfect example. This one right here is $413,000 final judgment. The assessed value is $319,000, which means that the property is worth a lot less. Might be, this actually might have a little equity, but who knows? But the bank wants $413,000, so you got to pay over $413,000 for this property. See, the final judgment matches the plaintiff's max bid. That's usually what happens in these situations. So in these situations, you have to pay $413,000 to get this property. Might be worth it, might not. Who knows? But again, this is something that you would have to pay cash 100% to get. Now, I show you this not, just basically so that people understand what it means to be a real estate investor and to use the auction sites to purchase properties. A lot of people are doing this. This is something that's very real, and it's going to get more and more as foreclosures do kick up and they start up again. This is something that you can look to get into. It's very complicated. These are easier because of several circumstances. But again, it takes a long time to get to this point where you can actually analyze these cases and understand what it is that you're looking at. If you look down here, there's a lot of canceled and closed sales. These basically these things have been up for a while because they're posted for a couple months, and then in those couple months they either got canceled by a judge or by a bankruptcy, or in some situations like this one down here, which is redeemed, the people came back and paid off what they owed on this property, and they were able to not lose their home at auction. So sometimes you spend a lot of, my point is sometimes you spend a lot of time analyzing a property, and then a few days before the sale it goes, it's basically fixed, or it's stopped by either a bankruptcy or some sort of county motion. So those are the things that there's a lot of time wasting, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But in any event, I'm going to do more. If you like these videos, please tell me something new for me. But I think people enjoy this. I think people like looking at and seeing how properties do at auction. So if you like this, please let me know, and I'll keep making these type of videos so that we can all look at how properties do and then analyze, and then maybe at some point when you're doing very well, you can turn around and buy yourself a property this way. Again, my name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy, loan modification, foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I've helped people buy properties through auction sites like this. I've represented buyers, I've represented sellers. I've done a lot of different things, but I'm doing these videos for the purpose of showing you and informing you what it looks like so that you can make your own decisions and you can aspire to doing what you want to do in your life. Again, please subscribe and like my channel and my videos so that I keep making these videos and other ones on these topics and other things involving foreclosures and other types of law here in Miami and throughout the United States. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Okay, so we're back after the auction. It's been a couple days, so a lot has happened with our auctions here. We're going to go back and look at what happened to the two properties that we initially take a look at, and I'm going to show you a couple other things on here that you need to be worried about if you plan to buy properties at auction. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try to find is our property located at 297th Terrace. So I believe it's somewhere here on the second page. This one is actually kind of interesting what happened with this property as soon as we find it. Okay, so it's right here. So this property, basically, there was a third-party bidder, because I saw this a couple of days ago before I shot this video, and you can see what happened was the bidder walked away. What happened here was the bidder put deposit down and wanted to buy the property and actually got a good deal on it. I believe that they did an offer close to a little over the assessed value, so they're probably going to get a pretty good deal on this. However, For whatever reason, the bidder decided to walk away, which means that the property did not sell and they're going to have to reset it for sale. This actually happens often. A lot of times people are looking to buy property and they realize that once they put the bid in that they don't want to go through with it. The problem with this is I believe in this case it was a $12,000 deposit that was put on this property, which means that that money is sitting with the clerk of courts, and now the buyer has the problem. The third party bidder has the problem of getting that money back, which can be tricky sometimes. So just to recap, the assessed value on this one was $185. The plaintiff's max bid, which was the amount that they were willing to sell the property for, $143. I have it set up here. This property was worth $324,000. So there was significant equity in this property between 143 and the 324. So I'm not sure why the bidder walked away, but they did, and that's what happened with that one. Now the other one that we were looking at was a property located in Doral that we initially thought would be a good deal. The problem here is that the plaintiff's max bid was $500,000. What that meant was that the plaintiff, the bank, had a automatic bid of $500,000. So in order to get this property, you would have to bid over that. People were not willing to do that. So what ended up happening was there was some, small bids of $6,800, but the property actually went back to the plaintiff. So now the bank owns this property and will sell it on their own to whoever will buy it later on. Now, I'm going to show you one that actually sold here. This property here was at this address here, 420 Northwest 88 Terrace. Now, the final judgment was $398,000, and the assessed value was $296,000. So, if we look at this property on Zillow, that sounds about right. $296,000 is the property value. You can see what the house looks like. Now, the issue here that we have is that this bidder bid $400,000. That must have been what the bank wanted, a little over the final judgment. So they bid $400,000. They won the property, but they won a property that's worth $100,000 less, at least according to Zillow. So we're not sure if that's a good deal or not, but that's what the buyer did here. And in this situation, they actually won the property and got their property. Now I'm going to show you one more, and I have to be a little careful how I talk about this, but I just want to show you something. So this one right here, this is an interesting case. This property here was sold to a third-party bidder for $408,000. Now, and initially you look at this and you say, oh, wow, this is only a $30,000 final judgment. That means that, like I showed you before, whoever owned that final judgment only can bid up to $30,000. That's usually what this plaintiff max bid is, around there. So you say, wow, I could have gotten a property with an assessed value of $442,000, and this is a nice building in a nice area in Aventura, Florida. The assessed value is $442,000. I could buy it for anything over $30,000, which is generally true, but I'm going to give you a caveat here. This third-party buyer paid $408,000. Now, the problem is that this, when I looked it up, is a homeowner association foreclosure lien. A lien foreclosure. Now, what that means is that, yes, you bought this property from the association who has a lien on the property. But if this has a first mortgage that also is on the property, like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or something like that, then you don't really own the property. You own it subject to that first mortgage. This foreclosure does not extinguish the first mortgage. So this person paid $408,000. It's possible that the house is paid off, or that the mortgage is less than $408,000, which means that they would get it. But if not, this excess money could very well go to the first mortgage. This is a very unusual situation. I'm not sure if they weren't sure what they were doing, or they know something I don't know. But in any event, this situation is something that people who don't really fully understand, and I'm not saying these people are, but in general, people who don't really understand how to buy and sell property or how to buy properties at auction run into this problem all the time. A lot of times it's the association or some other party that has the lien, and that's what's being foreclosed. So you don't actually own the property. I've represented people in these situations before. It's a sad situation. A lot of people think, oh, wow, I bought a property for $20,000, but they didn't really buy the property for $20,000 because right behind it comes the foreclosure of the first mortgage, and that puts them in a bad situation. So that is something that you need to worry about when you're doing this type of thing. Be very careful that you know what you're doing. You have to research these properties if you're going to buy these properties at auction. I'm going to be doing more videos on this specific topic of researching and how to buy properties at auction. Something that I'm interested in is something I think people are interested in because, like I said, all homeowners are real estate investors. I didn't turn my camera on this time because I just wanted to get this video out, but hopefully this was interesting for you. And if it was, please comment on. Please leave comments and let me know that this is interesting, so I keep making videos like this because there's auctions almost every day, and they're starting up again as of the end of the end of June here in Miami-Dade County. So again, my name is Diego Mendez. I am a bankruptcy, loan modification, foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I represent people on both sides of this issue, and I have helped people keep their homes, and I've helped people buy homes through short sales and through other means. So if you are interested, please like my video and please subscribe to my channel so I keep making these videos for you and for everyone who is interested in this type of thing. Thank you very much.